Yes, ma'am. My husband and I adopted his granddaughter. Now, my husband has passed, so I still have the granddaughter. And if I make a will and name guardians for her, she's currently 9 years old, and I make name guardians for her to take care of her, can her mother come back and contest that?
Very good question. So when you deal with adoptions, and I think most people realize is that the parents are terminating their parental rights, meaning that if they're consenting to that adoption, or whether they have been served and have not appeared at that hearing and have not contested that adoption, once that adoption is final, you are the parent at that point. And so with that being said, she cannot come back in and just say, hey, I want to take my child back. But there is nothing that stops any particular person from petitioning the court for custody. At that particular time, what that means is that she could petition the court for custody, even though you are the parent, saying that she wants custody. Now, whether she's going to win that custody fight is a different story. But at that point, like I said before, once you adopted that child, you became that child's legal parent. And so she cannot just simply come in and say, hey, I want to take this child back. But again, anybody can petition the court for custody, but that does not necessarily mean she's going to win. She has to meet several requirements if that's the case.
Adrian, is there any effect in putting into the will that you want certain people to have custody or have guardianship, as Loretta mentioned?
Now, I will say this. You can put those things in there, and again, just to make sure I'm clear, I don't particularly do wills, but it's my understanding those requests can be made into a will. But I would suggest at that point they reach out to someone who does more wills than I do.
And just to make sure that I'm clear what you're understanding, you're saying that even though Loretta is now the adoptive parent, the biological mother can come back and contest the adoption?
No, ma'am. The adoption is done.
Okay.
She cannot come back. If she did not contest that adoption when it was pending, once there was an order adopting that child, that's it. Mom has lost all those rights. But what I am saying is anyone can file a petition for custody. I can file a petition for custody. You can file a petition for custody. It doesn't stop her from filing a petition asking for custody. It just means that at that point she's asking the court and she's fighting what we would consider, based on adoption, the legal parent at that point. So yes, anybody can ask for custody, but the likelihood she's going to win just simply because she's the mother does not matter anymore, because she lost those rights in the adoption.
I see. I see. Okay. I appreciate that clarification.
You're welcome.
I mean, I think it's also just important, again, when we talk about custody, you're saying custody and visitation, same thing, different things? Talk
Different
about that,
thing.
if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. So custody and visitation is totally different. We have two different types of dealings when we're dealing with visitation. Visitation is established based on the time that the child can be with a particular parent, custodial or non-custodial parent. When you're dealing with custody, you're talking about the rights, decision making as it relates to the children. When you're talking about visitation, we're talking about the time that that particular child can spend with each parent. And here we have a lot what's called standard visitation, but you can always exceed that. You see quite commonly standard visitation, which is first and third weekend, Friday from 6 to Sunday at 6. So that's what you're establishing when you're setting out visitation, custodial time, totally different from custody itself.
There are a lot of intricacies to know.
Yes. That's why you need someone like Adrian to help you
Absolutely.
when you're in this situation.
Absolutely.